Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're building a game. We're working on our inventory system for the game. So yesterday we got our items rendering in our inventory. So if we hit enter, we can pull up a little mock inventory we made here. And right now we're just giving 20 items and we're just populating our whole list here. So today, I think the plan is to get a little cursor working so we can navigate through the inventory so that we can ultimately select and switch items and equip items and all that good stuff. So we'll be trying to do that today. Let's see how that goes. So we do have a inventory class, and that's what we're using the inventory class. If we take a look at the update, we update the first thing in here. So we say inventory has a grid. A grid is just a table for the grid of inventory stuff. And we're going through the grid, and right now we're just saying go ahead and give us an item in every one of the grids. That's why there's 12 baggies of items, because our item class has a little baggie and says it's a 20 inventory thing, 20 quantity thing. And then in the update for our inventory, we're saying go ahead and update the first index within that 2D array of row and column. So what that allows us to do is come into our, is it in our play state? We have a G inventory and we just run an update on there. And what that does is an item right off the bat renders at a self X and self Y, which are all the same upon initialization. But the update takes in whatever grid that item is in, and it assigns its X position based on that grid. So if there was only an item in the bottom right, it would get updated to be only rendering in the bottom right. So that way we can move these items around. So their position, their rendering position, is determined on which of the 2D array in the grid they're located in. So if we just place an item in the correct grid, it gets updated in the render to be placed there. So I think what we want to try to start with is, I think our cursor, there should only be one cursor, right? Because you can't have, there's only one cursor. So we don't want it in the item class. We want it in the inventory class. But we want the cursor to be tied to the X and Y position of our rows and columns, which don't have X and Y's associated with them exactly. But if we take a look at the update, we can see how we're doing it. This is the function for it, essentially. We're doing this. So we're saying, apply the correct offset if it's past row 1 and column 1. Otherwise, this is the kind of function to get the correct X and Y location. So we need to mimic this for our cursor and update our cursor based on the selected grid. So, we need to keep track. Maybe in our inventory we have a selected row and column in our grid, and then we render a little cursor thing at that location. So I guess that kind of means, let me think, because part of me thinks just put it into a class, a cursor class, and maybe make a cursor instantiation and then update it. I think we can get away, since we only need one cursor, we might be able to simplify it. But now that I'm thinking about it too, the game has sort of 3 different sections in the inventory system. And if we take a look, it's got what I'm calling the grid, which we should probably come up with a better name, but like a grid, this is a 3x4. That's where all the items go. And then it's also got a 4x3 here, and these are the other key items you can equip. So there needs to be a smaller cursor for all of this stuff over here, and a bigger cursor for all of this stuff over here. So maybe we do make a cursor class, because we might need a different sized cursor, or I'm not exactly sure. The third part here is the equipped stuff. So I made like this circle imprint, and that's to show that only these elements can be assigned into the A button. So A is kind of like a dedicated interact button, as well as a spellcast button, as long as you have something equipped. And then all of these things will go in the item slot, which is our B button slot. Wow, I made the coffee really good today. Okay. Let's think this through. If we think about what happens when you select an item, like let's say we get a little blinky cursor on the first item and we want to equip the second item, we would go hit right, it would move the cursor over here, which would also hold a reference to which grid the cursor is over, so that when we hit B, when we hit A to confirm the switch, it would equip it to the item slot, which is your B button. So B will toggle which of your inventory slots you will be modifying, and A is your select inventory item. So we would maybe, mouse over or D-pad over, hit A, and then what'll happen is the cursor will know you're on this grid slot. It would make a copy of that item, delete it, and then swap it with whatever's in B, or if there's nothing in B, go ahead and just equip it. So the cursor, I feel like once we click A, the cursor would kind of stay where it used to be, and it would either be blinking over an empty item if there was nothing in B equipped, or if there wasn't something in B equipped, it would swap it and it would put a blinky cursor over what used to be in B right here. So as long as we're in, like if we think about it as in two states, if we have a cursor for our items and a cursor for our key items, I think it does make sense to make a cursor class, because then we can have two instantiations of the cursor, both with different heights and sizes and grid positions. And then they also serve to know which item we're selecting and which item to assign it to upon a confirmation. So I think that's making sense. So what we'll do here is make a cursor class. So we're going to call it cursor.lua, and we're going to say cursor gets a class type, and we're going to say, we need our little functions here for an init, where we define stuff like the width and height of the cursor, as well as maybe the sprite for it. And then an update. And a render. Okay, now before we forget, we're going to come in here to our dependencies, and we're going to just require our cursor before our inventory so that we can actually use this thing. So for right now, not inventory, cursor. Let's hit it, aka Bob, let's hit it. Shoot, man. Okay. So we've got a class. We're not doing anything with it, so let's go instantiate one. But for right now, we'll just say love.graphics print. And we're just going to say hello cursor to just prove we're getting a cursor here. We're just going to print it up at the top of the screen here, at the top left. We probably also need to set the color so we can see it, and then we will come into our inventory class and say, you know what, our inventory is going to have a cursor. It's going to have an item cursor as well as a key item cursor. So cursor gets a cursor instantiation just like this. We call it like a function almost. So cursor gets cursor, then we're going to just take our self.item cursor and go ahead and render it at the very last thing we do. So we're going to say self.item cursor render. Call it like a function. So our inventory now has a class, a cursor object, and we are rendering it, so it should say hello cursor only in our inventory once we hit enter. And I see it. It's just in white, so it's hard to see, but it is there. So we've got a cursor, so that's step one. Now let's what we'll do is we need to get a, hey, what's up, Prosto? We need to get a sprite for this, because different cursors will have, our key item cursors smaller than our normal item cursor. So I think we need to maybe give a optional or a mandatory parameter of which type of cursor, so that we can render the appropriate one. So I guess for right now we can make a, let's take a look at our item class and we'll see what the size of our item is. We've got a 27 by 30. Yeah, what's up? It's like it's just a greeting, you know? It's like a hi, hello there. It's like it's not good morning or anything like that. It's just like, what's up, you know? Okay, what I do want to do is just draw a rectangle of an item width and an item height here in our item, so that we can see if the cursor size looks right. So we're going to say that the rectangle is a type fill. The X position is our own X position. And then it is, I think it's a local variable here called item width and item height. So let's see if this is a good size. Oh, we need an S here. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. It looks like our items are overlapping. So let's, oh shoot. Let me just test here and say if the width is just cut in half. If we can see individual, like let's cut both of these in half so we can see our individual items. Okay. Okay, so I don't like this. I don't like that they're overlapping. They should have some space in between them when we don't. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it's like super close. I think they're exactly touching. Because, yeah, that's like 1 pixel. If we subtract 1 pixel away, that's like exactly touching. Yeah, okay. So it looks like they're all exactly touching each other. So we can either add a gap as like a buffer, or we can just... Oh, shift it to the right and down, and then... and then subtract the width and height. Yeah, to give it that gap. Yeah. Yeah. That could work, Prosto. That would work. I guess the thing is I'm trying to determine how, if I want to like make a baked in size of a cursor, because I don't like this as the shape of the cursor is what I'm getting at. So like if my cursor is like a rectangle, just the border of these sizes of the items where they're rendering, I don't think I like that shape. So I think I'll make my own cursor with a 2 pixel gap so that they're not like totally overwhelming, because like you're only going to be seeing one cursor in one spot at a time. So I think I like the width of this, but the height could be maybe cut some, but then it'll look a little weird. Let me see. Set a different background color. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm here, let me see. I want to see what your tweak looks like, just to try. So you +1 on each, and then subtract 2, and this should give like a little gap all around, right? Yeah. It's just that I think I want a different shape. So I want to see what happens if we shrink our height by some more. I just want to see if the shape is weird. Because the thing is, the items aren't that big. So something this big would look really empty. Like a cursor this big would look really empty because the item would be so tiny. So okay, yeah. Well, so the thing, Prosto, I don't know how many items. I don't have many ideas for items at the moment. Yeah, Jimmy's up there sticking. Genie, we got the old Poggers Chomp for sticky babies. Yeah, definitely, Prosto. I am thinking, because I can't really imagine, because in my game, like there's gonna be items you can pick up and stuff, but there's not so many. Well, I guess there's gonna be 4 instruments. So 4 instruments leaves 8 other items, and I have only a couple ideas for stuff like berries and seeds and a flask. Maybe we... I think I'm generally liking how big they are right now, so let's move forward with the shape they are now. Different plane, solid background, and small lines. Oh, plain solid background and small lines. Yeah, keep building it out. Because like I was literally just gonna do like So there's like a dashed. Are you saying like, well, plain solid background and small lines? I don't know if I like that. I think it's like, I don't know. We'll have to see what it looks like, and then we'll see if I'm like totally not feeling it. Let's see. What is the current? We have an item width -1 and a height -8. So width -1, height -8. That would give us a 26 on the width and I already forgot, -8. Basically just draw a line on the bottom of the cell. Okay. For like, just as like it's like a little shelf for the items to sit on, kind of. Because we can definitely do something like that. But this is like what we're using to kind of select the different item. I'm calling it the cursor to be like the selector or whatever, but I'm still figuring out what it might look like. Here we go. So we're gonna make a 26 by 8. No, by 22, because 8 is the size we're shrinking it by. So by 22. Okay, so that's kind of the box for it. Yeah, we'll see how the shelf looks like, Prosto, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna allow people to kind of move their inventory. Mainly because it's more work. And there's not a real need for it. I'm trying to have like a really easy inventory system that people don't have to worry about the complexity of moving all that stuff, but we'll see. So like for right now, I'm just gonna do like a little cursor outline. Yeah, and Proso, another thing too is like I don't even know all the items yet, so it's tough. I don't know if I'm making the inventory system too soon because I don't even know what items we have, because depending how many items and how we use them, we might, need different things. So I don't know if this is too soon. Something looks off about it. Mainly, I wanted the inventory systems because right now on touch, we can't toggle the loot. And in order to toggle the loot, you should be holding the loot. So we need an inventory system. So that's kind of like why I'm tackling it right now. That and I've been putting it off. So I kind of thought I just wanted to try it. But we'll put this here as a cursor, as an item cursor. PNG. Okay, and we'll see what this looks like. Let's come in and we'll turn off our old rectangle. And it's not in our item. We could test it. We could test it in the item just to see what it would look like. Which... Yeah. I definitely should experiment a little more, because I don't know what I like or dislike. Like this would never look like this because there's only one cursor at a moment, but this is giving me an idea of like what it might start to look like. And you know what? Now that we've got items actually rendering in here, I can make our background a simple color, because these weird colors are throwing me off because I kind of erased what was in our picture here. So if we go to the mock-up, look at how nasty. Okay, yeah, we need to mock-up. What is it? Inventory mock-up? What is it called? Pause mockup. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we'll just erase all this junk so that we can get a nice clean look on our game, and we can get rid of the weird stuff that we're exporting over it. So if we save this as save as pause mockup, overwrite. Okay. So let's come in here, and we're going to turn off this weird rendering. The item is fine. The cursor is fine for now. But in our inventory class, yeah, we have a weird... Let's turn this off. And also in our cursor, we want to turn off this hello cursor for right now. Okay. Okay, much better. So I guess this is looking pretty good. Other than the item not being centered in the cursor, right? But yeah, Proso, I think you're right. Like I should take some time and look at a couple different examples of how people are doing it. Part of me was just like, let's just do it ourselves and do it live and see how it goes. So I kind of like that approach, because I feel like I learn a lot, and I kind of learn what doesn't work, which I think has more staying power than just mimicking somebody. But also good ideas, it's good to see good ideas and then also try to make them too. Okay, so when we render our image for our item, let's just say that we offset by some amount just to try to center it in the cursor. Okay, just about right. Okay. And then this can be doubled. Okay, it looks a little off. I think we want our quantity to be white and maybe a darker background, but let's do... The white looks bad. Okay, let's do... Okay, let's try this. Let's do our black first, and then we'll render white. And we'll do it -1 and -1. Okay. I don't know if I like that little drop shadow. I think we just need a darker brown, which will then start to blend with our item if we have a brown item. So okay. Let's try to get our cursor to blink. We are drawing a cursor for every item. We could have a little blink set. Now, where should we do this? We would do it in the... We should, instead of drawing the cursor, we should render the cursor. So let's give our cursor an X and a Y parameter, I guess. Well, it's tough because I'm trying to... We should only need one cursor, so let's maybe try that. Okay, so instead of saying, hey, self.cursor is just an image of a cursor, let's assign this image inside our cursor instantiation and then render our cursor itself. So this will be right here. We'll say self.image. Okay, and then when we render, we'll say we draw our image at our own X and Y. And then we could update the cursor. For right now, we could say that X and Y gets passed in here. We would ultimately want an update, but for right now, let's just try to do this. And then we need like a blinking. So if our blink timer is greater than a second, then we want to reset our blink timer, become unblinking. So we would say that blink timer gets modified by delta time. And then okay, we could do a ternary here, or we can do if visible. Then we become invisible. Else set us to be visible. And then we reset our blink timer. And then we can say if we're visible, go ahead and render us. Okay, so we need to not only update our cursor, but instantiate it with an X and Y, and then also render it. Yo, you dropping some better programmer knowledge on me right now, Prosto? Visible gets timer modulo blink duration smaller than blink duration over 2. So visible gets the timer modulo, so whenever it's... I guess I don't get what the blink duration divided by 2 is. Is that just... blink duration smaller than blink... Oh, just half of its duration. Okay, so like a duration of 1 second, then it would blink every half second. Yeah. That's a good Prosto. I should do that. Yeah. that's a more elegant way here. Here, we'll do this. We'll leave a Prosto hack in here, and we'll say visible gets, and then it's the timer moduloed by the duration, and then we check if that is smaller than half of our blink duration. So this method, we don't need to... Hey, Finn is fine. Thank you for the raid. Hey, welcome in. Hey, I hope you had a good stream. I don't think I've seen what you're up to. Are you a fellow game dev? Here, I'll shoot you a follow. I'll check out your channel here. Hey, thanks for the raid, everybody. Oh, wow. Hey, welcome in. We're doing a Link's Awakening style. Nice. Hey, thank you for the follows, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're doing a little Link's Awakening style top-down adventure game. We've got spellcasting, and we've got these little geckos, and it's about, you know, magic, adventure, and music, and kind of balancing out the ecosystem. Hey, Fanny Slam, welcome in. Hey, thanks for the follows, guys. We got a music system where we've got like a Guitar Hero type minigame here. Oh gosh, I'm bad at it, but... So, we're working on an inventory system today. Hey, Wardstone, here, I'll shoot you guys all follows. I'm not sure. I should go through and make sure I'm following everyone on the team. But thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. We are crashing on our inventory system. So we've got to just finish what we were doing. So... Okay. So yeah, we're in the middle of making a little cursor for our inventory system. So we've got a little image for our cursor. We're setting a little blink timer to conditionally render it. So now we need to come into our inventory. And we do have an item cursor, but we need to give this an X and a Y. Before we were doing it based on the items X and Y, but this is a little tricky. Like if we were to just put 0, 0 in here for now, we need to make sure we update our item cursor. So let's say we update and then render our item cursor. Okay, we are rendering, so let's see. Item 49. I don't know which ones you're talking about. Okay, the Wardstone ones. The Riz bags over there. I don't know what you're talking about, Prosto. Okay. We're crashing on what line? 49. Can't draw. Okay, yeah, we don't want to draw a cursor anymore because we don't have it in the item class anymore. Okay, so there's our cursor. We aren't blinking our cursor. So blink timer gets updated. If it's bigger than 1, we reset it, swap our visible, and we only render if we're visible. Okay. Blink timer starts at 0. Okay. And we are updating our cursor. Item cursor update. Okay. Okay, so we need to find out a way to get Booyah, the Riz ball. Was not expecting that. Oh, I thought it would be all huge on the on-screen chat. Dang. Dude, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, there you go. Free Riz ball. That's awesome, dude. That's huge. Yeah, that it's the eye contact, I think, is what is not okay about it, you know? So we were rendering this cursor for every item, but we only have one cursor, and it depends on which item. So what we can do is write an update function for the X and Y position for the cursor, make sure we're updating that, and we will update it with, yeah, this is just, because we don't have any method of moving this just yet. So let's try to get blinking working, and then we'll handle moving the cursor. So we do render the cursor. Let's see if we come into our... Oh, and you know what? I think the thing is, we're in a pause state. Let's check our pause state and make sure we're updating and rendering our inventory properly. Okay, we are rendering it, but we are not updating it. So we do need delta time for our inventory so that we can get blinking. So we will update that. And then hopefully we have blinking. Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. So we got a little blinky cursor. So now what needs to happen is we need to have a sort of... Thanks, Booyah. Yeah. So I post the source code to the music on my GitHub. It's just this. It's on Sonic Pi. So if you... I think it's called Stream Music or something on my GitHub if you want to check out the source code or play around with Sonic Pi. But yeah, it's running live here in Sonic Pi. So that is a cool project. I suggest checking out if you're into that stuff. The Sonic Pi, yeah. Okay. So yeah, we need to keep a reference to like our selected grid, right? Because we have access to a grid row and column. That's how we're placing these items in there. So now we just need to make our cursor adhere to those grid X and Y locations. Now we did put like a, can take this out. Let's see, I think it's in our item class. We have this stuff. This is the math to kind of set up, the X and Y position at the correct grid. So our cursor needs something like this, that once we update the cursor's current row and column, we would then have a row and column to assign its new X and Y position. So I think the move is we turn these into globals so that multiple classes can hold it, and we only have to modify it once, and then we can essentially just use this same calculation to get us the correct X and Y location dependent on the grid we're currently selected at. Then we got to just register inputs to go correctly assign the selected grid, which has its own problems. But ideally, I think since I don't plan on having like inventory moving and assigning manually, I think the cursor will only go to spots that have an item in there, because I want to prioritize a fast switching of items. I just don't want people to be bogged down in the interface of the inventory system. So that's the current plan, but we'll see how far we get with that, because that might be trickier than I think, but we'll see. I'm gonna take out these, put them in a constants folder. Yeah, so we're gonna just... Is there a way to... Okay, almost. I was gonna say if there's just like a shortcut to capitalize everything, but almost. NeoVim has got this thing where if you tilde, it'll swap the caps or case, but it also unswaps this stuff, so we'd probably want to do underbar like this. Oh, that is just so generic. This needs to be like grid X offset. Inventory grid. Ugh. Okay. Grid X offset. Grid Y offset. Okay, so we need these names in our item update here. So we're just gonna replace these guys with Y offset gets grid Y offset. Let's see. Sweet. Okay. So now we should be able to do something similar with not a row column for an item, but a row column for our cursor. So like it would be like a selected row, selected column for our cursor class. And then that would modify the X and Y of our cursor, just like we're doing it with our item. So let's make sure we didn't break anything here. You know, the language for Sonic Pi is something Sam Aaron created for Sonic Pi, so I don't know what language it is. It's just for Sonic Pi, I guess. I don't know if it has a name. But he does. So, like, what's cool is when you download Sonic Pi, there's like there's a little Where is it? There's like a whole, this is it. There's like a whole examples and samples, and you can see he's created some example code things that just have different styles and different ways of programming with it. So this is probably, I would say check out the examples inside Sonic Pi and kind of look at the syntax in there, because I don't know if there's proper documentation. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he allows anyone to use the music for whatever. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just free to use, and you can use the music in whatever. I guess I should be for sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that it's just free. Okay. So we are updating this already with delta time, but we also need to pass in a row and a column for our selected row and column. So we're going to be setting the Y and X of our cursor to be dependent on the row and column we pass in. So now we need to make sure in our inventory system we're updating this cursor. I believe we are, because we're already flashing it. But what we do need to do is give it an example row and column. So if we give it a 1, 1, let's hope it's at grid 1, 1 here. Okay, it looks like it is. Let's see, 2, 2. Wait, Booyah, so how did you do this? Did you okay. Did you sub to Rizbags to get these things? The Nerd Riz is nicer. I don't know why. It looks okay. Oh, there you go. The boot. Oh, dude, nice. Love it. That's what I missed. That's killer, dude. Yeah, Prosto, I would look into Sonic Pi. I'm pretty sure you can use it even commercially. But then let's see. Synthesized sounds are yours. That's just like a dude on the thread, though. I'm pretty sure you can use it for whatever. Yeah, bro. So I don't know. Something's in the air tonight with those guys. Okay, this is good. We've got a cursor blinking at whatever grid we want. So now we just need to, read some input and update the cursor appropriate to the input. It's looking right. So how we were doing input in the past was we have this, because for walking and stuff, the X and Y position of our character is based on the continuous input detection. But for something like this, it would only be once, right? Because like if you hold right, we don't want the cursor going right and right and right and right. It's only on the was pressed. So like upon the event trigger for the initial is or was pressed. So I don't know what the move is here. But for example, we can say something like, we could just initialize with a selected grid. So we can say self dot selected row, and we just say we're going to start out as 1 1. And then, so we need this to work on touch also because our game is going to be deployed to the web. So it actually is deployed to the web right now. You guys can play it yourself right here on Tashio.dev. It's arrow keys and then spacebar and then L for the loot system. But this works on mobile, which is different than working on keyboards. So like, we need to make it work with touch also, but that'll be after this. But we need to make it so that, I guess we just, because I'm still figuring out what it needs to accomplish. So I think we need to figure it out first, and then we can worry about getting it working on touch. So right now we have like a selected row and column. We're defaulting it to 1 and 1, but then we need to, in our update, check for this input, right? And we can update, instead of rendering it here, we'd want to render it at our selected row and column. And then we can check for different stuff like, yo, 2K just won. That's epic, dude. I was gonna say you can buy you can already buy every one of the avatars. I should make a super expensive one that you could save up for. Okay, so we do need to do some sort of checking here because we can't index 0 in our table. Will crash if we try to do that. So we have to say like, if W is pressed, if our selected row is already at the top, so if our row is equal to 1, then we're just going to say do nothing. So maybe what we can do is we can say if not self dot selected row, if not equal to 1, then we want to decrement our selected row so that we can move it upwards. So we're going to say the row gets -1 here, and then we can do something similar for the other ones. If A is pressed, then we would want to make sure that the selected column does not equal 1, so we can't index a 0. So if it's not 1, then go ahead and decrement our selected call to move it left. And then S would be down, so we'd want to say if not self.selected row, if it's not the last one, which we have 4, but we have it defined as row amount. So row amount. If self.row amount, then we would want to increment our selected row to move us down 1. And then if right is pressed, we want to check the select, or the, what is it called? Row amount, column amount, call amount? Column amount. Okay. So if our selected column does not equal, or if our selected call does equal the self.column amount, I should stay consistent with spelling column out or not, because that's getting confusing. If we're not equal to the max column, then we're going to go ahead and increment our selected column. Okay, let's check it. Okay, I don't see anything changing here. We are updating our cursor. Self.selected call. Self.selected call. Okay, was pressed, okay. Oh, we're getting stuck here. Since our... Oh, no we're not. If we hold right, which would be D, selected call, okay. I don't know why we're not quite updating over time for the column, for the cursor. It should be moving. We are updating our cursor based on a self-selected call. We could print up this selected row and call to make sure these are proper values, but the fact that, you know, if we were to pass in different values here, they do update, so that tells me that our touch detection, or our input detection, is a little messed up still. So let's try... Let's just say if D is pressed, we want to increment our selected call regardless, and let's just see if our logic was, if our flaw, okay, yeah. Okay, we also need to reset the cursor flash upon pressing, but then why are we failing here? If not selected call equal to the self column amount, this would be the, yeah, column selected call. Shit. What happens if we try to index? Oh, look at that. We can move it off screen. Okay, well, we'll have to figure out how to limit this. Okay, well, we've got this. We need to reset our blink so that anytime we move it, it resets the blink so that we can see where the cursor is and it's not invisible by the time we're moving the cursor. So our cursor is in the item cursor. Now let's just like remind ourselves how the blink is working exactly. And Prosto, I do and will use your method for it. I'm just kind of trying to just knock it out here, and then I want to do how you did it. I just feel like I'm kind of in a flow right now. So if we look at our item cursor, we have this blink timer that would need to reset. We'd need to reset the blink timer and visible back to true for our cursor. So we'll go here and we'll say, okay, anytime we move this thing, we're gonna modify our cursor, which is called item cursor. So we're gonna say item cursor blink timer, and we could make a function for this to clean this up a bit. So we could say that our cursor here has a function that resets its blink. We could say function cursor blink reset. And all it does is reset the blink timer and visibility to true. So we should be able to call this blink reset on our item cursor if any of these keys are pressed. So we can say item cursor, blink reset. Right? Nice. I wanted to blink a little faster, but this is definitely getting there. Now the issue is no, yeah, Prosto, like I just know, you know, I know there's different ways of doing it. And yours is cool, so I like that, and I'm trying to soak in different ways of doing things because I think it'll help me think differently and solve things differently too, like broaden my problem solving. So I'll look into it more, and you know, just kind of pay attention to the differences and see what works, and why one reason might be better than the other, or you know, all that good stuff. But thank you for. Yeah, I mean, there are cooler ways than others, but yeah, there's no right or wrong way. So like, this is the issue, right? We're able to select stuff that we don't want, because they're not even on the grid. So we do have to limit this. It wasn't moving when I tried to limit it, but we should be able to do this fairly easily, right? Because we can say, hey, if we could check. I thought, so let's try it just for moving right. We can say, if our selected column is equal to the, what is it called? Max column count? Column amount. Jeez, okay. If our column is already equal to the column amount, we don't want to update the thing. See, and this is just disgusting. I don't like this, but I tried doing the not equal and it didn't work. So let's see if right is limited. Okay, that does limit it, so it can't go right past. So why can't we say, instead of this, if something do nothing else do something, how come we can't say if not equal? Or we'll say, oh, and you know what? Okay, we didn't do the not equal operator last time. We did a Boolean not. I think this will work. Yes, okay. So we've got it limited there. We need to limit it for everything else. So we can say, for moving downwards, we'd want to say if the selected row is already equal to, or is not equal to the row amount, that is the max rows, then go ahead and allow us to move down. And then A would be moving left, and we'd say if the self.selected call is not equal to the 1, right? If it's not equal to 1, then we'd want to move it to the left. Otherwise, we don't move it to the left. And then if we want to move up, we would say if the self.selected row is not equal to 1, then we would actually want to move it up. Okay. Let's try it. Yeah. Well, yeah, and Prosto, like, that's kind of what I'm saying too, is like, I think you can learn from different styles, right? So it's like, even if like your way is not what I thought at all. So digesting how you would do it helps kind of expand my brain and be like, hey, this is just another, just another way. Okay, sweet. We're locked in. You can't see that I'm pressing outside, but we do have it locked in. So this is good. This is really good. Sweet. Okay. I think that's a decent spot to commit. We changed our pause mockup screen. We added a cursor class as well as an item cursor PNG. We updated our pause state, our dependencies, our constants, our item class, and our inventory class. That looks right. So we're going to commit and just say that this was add cursor to inventory system. Okay. Sweet. So with that, I think I'll be done for tonight, but thanks for hanging out, everybody. I do have a channel announcement. I've got a interview series where I talk to other developers about projects they're building, and that first episode is coming out this Friday at 6 on Mountain Time. I'll be streaming it here on the channel. I'll also be posting it on my YouTube, and it'll live there. So if you miss the stream, the interview will live there. I'm talking to Craig Leparo, who is a developer who made this TAC game called PTN Ninja. So TAC is a game from one of my favorite books, and he did this implementation of it. So I was blown away by the quality of his programming. So I reached out and I got an interview with him, and it's an hour-long interview. So if that's something you guys are interested in, watching a developer interview, that'll be on the channel this Friday, and it'll live on my YouTube if you miss it, and I'll be streaming Friday anyway after that. But just a heads up for the channel, it's a series I want to continue to do. So I'm looking for other developers with other projects that I can talk to in order to kind of just pick their brains about their development process and what kind of tools they use. So that's what I'm hoping to do every once in a while here on the channel is just have those kind of conversations and talk about other projects. So that's in the pipeline, coming out on Friday. I know I've got the link, the premiere link on Discord. I believe it's just on there if anyone's interested in that. But with that, we'll raid out here to a fellow. Let's keep the raid going to a fellow indie game dev. So we'll see teams, indie game devs. Let's check out who's live right now. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. That was really nice. Thanks for the raid too. We've got Basie, we've got Griffin Blade. I don't know who that is. Griffin Blade's doing some... I don't know what he's doing.
But yeah, just... I'm
Here, we'll raid Griffin Blade. I've never seen his channel, but we'll raid him and I'll give him a follow, and we'll just try that. Oh, are you... So there is there's 2 players on TAC. Yeah, there's a bunch of rules. So there is he made this project, so it's like player 1, the first 2 moves you play each other's stones. The whole goal is to get a road all the way across. So that would be a road, right? Whoever's on top. But then you can stack stones on top of one another. You can stand stones to block a road. You can use a capstone to crush a standing stone. So like a white stone can crush a standing stone like that, and then that becomes a potential road. And it is a 2-player strategy game. And I made my own implementation of this for a school project at one point, and I basically I made it without checking anyone else's implementation, and then when I found Craig's implementation, it blew me away. So I really wanted to talk to him about the process. So my game, it's more niche popular because it's from a book series. So there is a Discord out there that is pretty active, but it is a really niche game. So I'm not surprised you haven't heard about it, but it is a cool little 2-player strategy game. So like the big difference with mine is that mine's limited by how many stones can stack, because I'm kind of rendering them stacking like this, getting smaller and smaller on top of one another. But his is more true to the real game because there's no technical limit about how high they can stack. So it was cool to talk to him about how he pulled it off. But yeah, here we'll read out. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll read out here to Griffin Blade. We'll give him I'll give him a follow for sure. I haven't seen his channel, but he's a fellow game dev member. So thanks for hanging. I'll be back tomorrow, but I appreciate everyone watching, hanging out. Yeah, I hope everyone has a good night. Thanks for hanging.